The 5 Yogas. Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga teaches right living. Karma Yoga is the yoga of activity. Karma Yoga teaches the right relation towards people, and the right action in the ordinary circumstances of life. Karma Yoga teaches how to become a yogi in life without going into the desert, or entering into a school of yogis. Therefore, Karma Yoga is a necessary supplement to all other yogas. Only with the help of Karma Yoga can one always remember their aim, and never lose sight of it. Without Karma Yoga, all other yogas either yield no result, or degenerate into something opposing themselves. Raja Yoga and Hatha Yoga degenerate into a search for external miracles, for the mysterious, for the terrible, that is, into pseudo-occultism. Bhakti Yoga degenerates into pseudo-mysticism, into superstition, into personal adoration and into a striving for personal salvation. Jnana Yoga degenerates into scholasticism, or at best into metaphysics. Karma Yoga is always connected with the aim of inner development, of inner improvement. It helps humanity not to fall asleep inwardly amidst the entangling influences of life, particularly in the midst of the hypnotizing influence of activity. It makes us remember that nothing external has any significance, that everything must be done without being obsessed with outcome. Without Karma Yoga we become absorbed in the nearest, the immediate visible aims, forgetting the chief aim. Karma Yoga teaches us to change our fate, to direct it at will. According to the fundamental idea of Karma Yoga, this is attained only by altering our inner attitude towards things and towards our own actions. The same action can be performed differently. One and the same event can be lived differently. If we alter our attitude towards what happens to us, this will in the course of time inevitably change the character of the events that we encounter on our way. Karma Yoga teaches us to understand that when it seems that we ourselves are acting, in reality it is not us who acts, but only a power passing through us. Karma Yoga asserts that one is not what we imagine ourselves to be, and teaches an understanding that only in very rare cases do we act of ourselves or independently, that in most cases we act only as part of one or other greater whole. This is the occult side of Karma Yoga, the teaching concerning the forces and laws that govern mankind. A person who understands the ideas of Karma Yoga feels all the time that they are but a tiny bolt, or a tiny cog in a bigger machine, that the success or failure of what they think they are doing depends very little upon their own actions. Acting and feeling in this way one can never meet with failure in anything, because the greatest failure may prove a success with inner work, for the struggle with ourselves, if only we find the right attitude toward failure. A life governed by the principles of Karma Yoga differs greatly from ordinary life. In ordinary life, no matter what the conditions might be, the chief aim consists of avoiding all unpleasantness, difficulties, and discomfort, as far as this is possible. In a life governed by the principles of Karma Yoga, one does not seek to avoid unpleasantness or discomfort. They do not actively seek them out either, but take things in their stride as they occur, for this affords an opportunity for overcoming. From the point of view of Karma Yoga, if life offered no difficulties it would be necessary to create them artificially. Therefore the difficulties that are met with in life are regarded not as something unpleasant that one must try to avoid, but as something useful, to further the aims of both inner work and development. When one realizes this and feels it constantly, life itself becomes their teacher. The chief principle of Karma Yoga is non-attachment, or letting go. One who follows the methods of Karma Yoga must practice non-attachment always and in everything, whether to good or evil, to pleasure or to pain. They must learn to let go of obsession, of false views and of proprietorship. Non-attachment does not mean indifference. It is a certain kind of separation of self from what happens, or from what one is doing, showing an understanding of dispassion, discernment or discretion. It is not coldness, nor is it the desire to shut oneself off from life. It is the recognition, and the constant realization that everything is done according to certain laws, that everything in the world has its own fate. From an ordinary point of view, the pursuit of the principles of Karma Yoga appear as fatalism. However, it is not fatalism, in the sense of the acceptance of an exact and unalterable preordination of everything, without the possibility of change whatsoever. On the contrary, Karma Yoga teaches how to change karma, how to influence karma. From the point of view of Karma Yoga, this influence is an entirely inner process. Karma Yoga teaches that one may change the people and events around them only by changing their attitude. The idea of this is clear. Everyone from their birth is surrounded by a certain karma, by certain people and by certain events. In accordance with their nature, education, tastes, influences and habits, they adopt a certain definite attitude toward things, people and events. As long as this attitude remains unchanged, people, things and events also remain unchanged, that is, corresponding to their karma. If they are not satisfied with their karma, if they want something new and unknown, they first need to change their attitude towards what they have, and then new events shall arise. Karma Yoga is the only way possible for people who are tied to life, who are unable to free themselves from the external forms and responsibilities of life. For people who either through their birth, or through their own powers and capacities, are placed at the head of human communities or groups. For people who are connected with the progress of the life of humanity. For historical personages, for people whose personal life seems to be the expression of the life of an epoch or a nation, these people cannot change themselves visibly. They can change themselves only internally, while externally remaining the same as before, saying the same things, doing the same things, only without attachment as actors on a stage. Having become such actors in relation to their life, they become yogis in the midst of the most varied and intense activity. There can be peace in their soul, whatever the trouble might be. Their thought can work without hindrance, be free and independent of anything that may surround or seek to bind them. Karma Yoga gives freedom to the prisoner in confinement and to the king on a throne, if only they can sense their role as actors on a stage, playing some part in the whole.